Welcome to Stitches in Time, the podcast discussing Doctor Who the way it was meant to be watched. In chronological order, one clip at a time, starting at the Big Bang and ending with the heat death of the universe. I'm Becca, the Matrix Archivist, and I spent the last 12 years of my life meticulously editing the entire televised Doctor Who universe into chronological order.
And I'm Mandy, and I've got a hot suit. Hot.
Yowza!
This will work great for an audio medium.
Yeah, what are you wearing right now?
The name for the type of white sleeveless shirt is maybe not acceptable anymore. I have heard them kind of renamed as wife pleasers, and I do like that as a an acceptable kind of version of that. But I have a cropped one of those, and it just says I got a lobotomy done at Toyotathon because I need an explanation as to why I'm doing this podcast.
Well, you do look very hot. You're wearing a hot suit.
My hot suit.
Hot suit! Hot. Yeah, so today we are discussing Hyde. But of course, just the bit of Hyde that's the 22 seconds where the 11th Doctor and Clara Oswald show up on the molten Earth to take a photograph.
And I need a little bit of explaining from the archivist here, because in this episode, the Doctor very clearly says we were back about 6 billion years. It's a Tuesday. And yet, are we 4 billion years or are we 6 billion years? Should I write a letter to the editor?
Scandal. So yes, he does say we're about 6 billion years in the past. But here's the thing that we know not only from science, but also from mere moments ago in the edit. Of course, we had the Runaway Bride, and both science and the Runaway Bride confirm that the Earth was formed about 4.6 billion years ago. Now, if the 11th Doctor shows up and is 6 billion years in the past, he doesn't have a planet to stand on. I think sometimes the Doctor gets it wrong.
I was thinking that it'd be a perspective of we haven't seen where he's coming from. He could have been 2 billion years in the future.
I see. Yes. I mean, that is also possible from the perspective of somebody who has not done the work of editing Doctor Who into the proper order. I could see where you would think that,
I don't, despite this being yet another episode that I have definitely seen before. I don't remember anything about this, especially because this is the era of Doctor Who that I was kind of checked out. At this point, I was watching it out of obligation. Of that's the thing that I watch, which was already kind of a frustration point because we were not living in the era of Doctor Who on Disney Plus. We were in the era of Doctor Who on Netflix 6 months later. So, but if you wanted to catch up with it, you had to go on to some illicit websites and do very legal, good people things, like donate to charity and feed ducks, but not bread. I think corn. I think
is
they
corn
like corn.
The duck food that's acceptable? Okay.
You feed them an acceptable thing, and then you can watch you just have seen an episode of Doctor Who legally. Yeah. No crimes were committed.
So it sounds to me like once Amy and Rory were gone, you were done.
Not it was kind of by the like the 50th anniversary special, that was kind
Okay.
of at the point of like, oh, I'm not having fun here. And I think a lot of that did
Ooh.
kind of have to do with the like previously I was watching it on Netflix. I was watching it like this is just a thing that I can easily access. And
Mm,
then it from there it became a thing that I had to work for. And once it became a thing I had to work for, then I have to really judge how much am I enjoying this thing that I am working to watch. That
that's
is
fair.
why I stopped watching BBC Sherlock.
Interesting.
It was a like it was midway through. I think their season, their I can't remember which season. It was one where they like had a big gap. Sherlock has died. It's coming
Oh
back,
yeah,
and they
I
have the
remember that.
episode where like a bunch of people have theories, and it's written very insulting to the audience for like how dare you have theories about this show? How dare you want to speculate about this show that we have wild speculation for? And I was watching it on a streaming site that was definitely like for realsies. Like I just prayed to Jesus real hard, and then it
Yeah,
showed up
just a
on my
regular old above board situation. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But then it started like my signal wasn't very good.
Mm.
And so it was like blanking in and out, and I lost the episode. And I was like, it's not even worth scrubbing through an hour to try to get back to it. I'm done. And I was gone. And apparent
Wow.
by all rights, knowing where that show went, I was right. I got out when it was good, when the getting out was good. Like the stock was at its peak when I got out.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that is a lot like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's experience of having written Sherlock Holmes, because he famously hated the character of Sherlock Holmes, and he hated him that he was so successful, and all he wanted to do was like kill him off and write something else. But Sherlock Holmes is all the people wanted.
But
So
he didn't hate him enough not to sue Herlock Sholmes out of existence. Do you know about Herlock Sholmes?
no, I do not. Tell me
Okay.
more.
So I guess this is a good thing for people to say in the audience of because I am not a Doctor Who person. The sort of person I am is a Lupin the Third person. Do you know anything about Lupin the Third?
I literally know only what you've told me, and honestly, I've forgotten most of that.
So Lupin the Third is an anime. The manga started in 1967. The anime started in 1971. Um, so long running series, and it is about a gentleman thief named Lupin the Third. And the reason why he is named Lupin the Third is that it is based off of a series of French novels about a gentleman thief named Arsène Lupin, which is what the Netflix show is based off of. It does, the Netflix show will make some references to Lupin the Third, but it is mostly based off of those original French novels. And those French novels, somebody in Japan decided, oh, I'm going to make a story where it's the grandson of that guy, but he's also Japanese, and it's just a weird guy who goes on adventures. But in those original Arsène Lupin novels, the author of them wanted to put his gentleman thief against Sherlock Holmes, and so he wrote stories with Sherlock Holmes in them. And I don't actually think it was Arthur Conan Doyle. I think it was his estate was like,
Okay.
nah, we can't have that, and sued the hell out of him. And so Maurice Leblanc, who did the Arsène Lupin novels, was like, okay, then I'm gonna invent my own detective named Herlock Sholmes, and Arsène Lupin is gonna kick his ass and steal his watch. And that's continued on in Lupin the Third has had Herlock Sholmes sometimes. It's also just like become a general thing. Like the Arsène Lupin novels, I guess, are pretty popular in Japan. And like if you know what's the like the Ace Attorney stuff, they'll have
Uh-huh.
of Herlock Sholmes. Like
Oh,
anytime
okay.
that Japan wants to have Sherlock, they won't even bother. They're like, we got
So
Herlock
good.
Sholmes. We don't need Sherlock.
It's just all one shared universe of
Yeah.
the Herlock Sholmes-averse. In that light, I think we should make a show called Doctor Whom, and and it can just be a show about a time-traveling alien who doesn't do a lot, but a lot of stuff happens to him because he's the subject of the sentence.
Now, is it whom PhD or whom MD?
Ooh.
Whom D?
Whom DDS. He's an orthodontist. And he goes around the universe and at various times solving tooth crimes like Neil Patrick Harris's mouth in The Giggle.
Yeah. You might be wondering, how many problems of the universe could be solved with proper orthodontics? And you would be surprised. Alien never would have happened if that xenomorph had just worn its retainer.
So anyway, we're watching Hyde today.
We're watching Hyde.
So Mandy, of course, we have to do the Mandy-splaining segment because you said you don't remember much, if any, of this episode.
Yeah, so someone comes out of the TARDIS, and I'm gonna be honest with you. At first, I thought it was Donna, and that was what made me realize Matt Smith and Donna don't look dissimilar. I think it's just in the way that English people look similar because they're both kind of pasty and don't have eyebrows. And it's something about like this part of their face, which is the only part, like the upper bit of their face. Mm-hmm. It's the only part that you can see blocking out everything else. And it's like, yeah, it took me a minute to realize, oh, that's Matt Smith. And not Catherine Tate, because I'm just so used to this point. Like, yeah, I'm expecting to see Catherine Tate again. I've seen her so many times.
Yeah. That's the big reveal of this clip is like you expect it to be Catherine Tate because she's, she seems like, really the main character of Stitches in Time so far.
Yeah. But unfortunately, she's not. She's Matt Smith. And granted, we have had Matt Smith before. We've had
True.
the 11th Doctor. He takes a step out into just like it's a bunch of lava, and he just snaps a picture, and then he goes back inside, and that's when he goes, hot, I'm so hot, and it was like, you're not. Again, I could not tell you the difference between you and Catherine Tate, and I mean, of the two of you. I don't know which one of you is getting insulted. I think it's Catherine Tate.
Yeah, real quick, fuck, marry, kill. The 11th Doctor, Donna Noble, Clara Oswald.
Okay, so here's the problem. Catherine Tate looks a lot like my Aunt Colleen.
Okay.
Very, very similar. And it's, again, the my Aunt Colleen, if you can't tell from the name Colleen, is from the very Irish side of my family. So she has that very, like, British, Irish looking, like, those kind of features. So it looks very similar. I am not necessarily fond of my Aunt Colleen, and I'm really hoping that nobody in my family decides that they want to be supportive of Mandy and listen to a podcast. I'm pretty sure none of them are going to get this far. Okay. None of them are going to get this far. First episode, maybe they'll do it, and that's when I'll be like, I love my family, they're so supportive. And this will be we've gotten far enough in where we'll be like, okay, fuck Aunt Colleen.
I really want to know if you get comments from your family about this podcast now.
And it's gonna be like she knows what she did. She knows what she did. And she'll be like, hey, Mandy, that was a decade ago. And it'll be like, you did not apologize for it, so I'm still going to be bitter about it. So it took me a really long time to, like, I like Donna Noble as a character. Okay. She's not someone that I want to spend time with.
Okay.
I like watching her as a character because I don't have to be in the same universe as her.
That's fair. That's fair. I also I do like the British version of Fuck, Marry, Kill is Fuck, Marry, Avoid, which I think is a lot more It's less violent and maybe more, because I don't really want to kill anyone. Like,
yeah. And then for the other two, like, the 11th Doctor married to too many people. He's already on some sister wife shit.
Okay.
So I think I'm marrying Clara, and I guess I am fucking the 11th Doctor, and I don't think that either of us will have a good time. It's very much out of obligation.
Yeah. That's fair. I would probably, what would I do? Now, like, all I can think of now is, like, does your Aunt Colleen also look like Matt Smith?
No, I think because I feel like the big distinguish between them, and I was like, no, they don't look similar at all, is that the brow ridge that Matt Smith has, which always reminds me of my AP government teacher. He would always, like, he was one of those people who had, like, very deep set eyes and the very pronounced brow ridge. And he was like, yeah, it serves an evolutionary purpose. When we were going through the jungle, we had to go through, I made sure I had a brow ridge so that nothing could cut my eyes. And he would just walk around class, like, holding up his fingers to his eyes to demonstrate how his brow ridge prevented eye damage.
Great.
The education system in Florida is bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's bad in the entire nation, but Florida seems like one of the worst.
Yeah, I think that at the time that I was going to school, we were the second worst. Like, state by state, we were the second worst state.
I think I would... I'm going back to the fuck, marry, avoid. I think I would fuck Clara Oswald just cause. I don't have to... Shut up. I don't have to explain myself to you.
Now, do you think that you would be fucking for your benefit or for her benefit?
Look, I think she's very attractive. But also, I think I'm very attractive. So in some ways, I think both. You know what I mean? I think we're both...
It's a mutually beneficial...
Yeah. We're both sort of, you know, out of our league a little bit. Yeah, exactly. Game recognized game. That's the only kind of sex I ever want to have for the rest of my life. This is game recognized game sex. And then I think I would probably marry the 11th Doctor just because it seems fairly easy and, you know, because like you said, he's marrying a bunch of people. You know,
see, you're going the opposite way. Like, you're thinking, oh well, he's already in line.
Yeah. Like,
what's one more form for you?
I feel I don't know, because I don't particularly want to marry any of those three characters because I feel like they would all be a lot in different ways. But I feel like Matt Smith would be the most, like, laissez-faire marriage that I could have. I'd be like, yeah, you go off on space adventures for several months and, like, maybe I'll come back, whatever, as long as I get to keep the house.
I feel like of the three, Clara's the least to fuck up my credit score. And, like, that's what I gotta worry about with marriage.
True. Yeah. That's a really good point.
Maybe, like, I don't know with Donna, particularly with the info that we've gotten just in the Stitches in Time bit. I don't know how she is with money.
All right. We'll table this discussion until we know more about each of these three. This was all
because the 11th Doctor said, oh, I'm hot.
Yeah, can you tell that we're running out of things to talk about? Can you tell by the fact that we just went on a massive loop on the third tangent?
Well, I'll be doing that regardless. You're going to get this like 8 more times.
Let's
true. Let's be honest.
We definitely, and we have a lot more Hyde to talk about soon. Yeah, so keep your pants on, audience. We'll get there.
In Stitches in Time, you will always include like a little description of what they are doing.
Mm-hmm.
And in this one, you have included the description of what they're doing, and I'm gonna pull it up now.
Please. Wait, before you do that, because we still haven't done the Mandy-splaining segment.
Okay.
We did a little bit of it, but then we got
Oh yeah.
So what is the context of this scene for you?
Yeah, so he's just going out and taking a picture.
Mhm.
And so I have to assume that the doctor just got a new phone. The doctor got a new phone and is trying to like test the cam, because like that's always the thing that you want to do is like test the camera, and like you want to do a night shoot, and you want to like try selfies, and you want to photograph the molten earth.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
That seems to be about what's going on here. It's just like really happy about his new cell phone camera, and then Clara's just
Great.
kind of like, yeah, I mean, we already had a phone attached to the box, and there's like a computer. I just don't know why you needed a new phone as well. Like, yeah, like sure, the megapixels are great. It's not good at video though, and this seems like something like a video would be better. So there's so many times places brag about how great their camera is, and their video camera is awful.
I'm also pretty sure that in the clip he's using a film camera.
Well,
Which,
I wasn't paying attention to that.
look, I think it's great. I think that in my mind you're like, yeah, the doctor bought this cell phone that is shaped like a film camera. And he's testing out the camera on it. I'm sorry. I also, he's on the molten earth. Like, I don't know how hot it is there, but I feel like film would not survive in that environment for very long. Like, if he has to wear a suit to prevent the heat from touching his body, and also, like, it's too hot for Clara to even, like, be near him when he gets back in the TARDIS. Like, how is the film in that camera not just bursting into flames like film famously does?
I mean, in fairness, we never saw the pictures. So maybe.
We'll see them in a few billion years, and then we'll find out what the deal is.
Yeah, it says something like, "Oh, photographs a ghost." That was lava. Sir, that was lava? That's not a ghost.
Excuse me, sir. This is lava. Yeah, you know what? I can't argue with that. It's some solid logic that you have there.
So he's going out, he's testing his new phone, and Clara's like, "That's not a phone, that's a camera." And as cameras go, you could have got a better camera.
You should have been taking photos on a phone.
Take my iPhone.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I will tell you what is actually happening in this episode is, yes, the 11th Doctor and Clara Oswald are investigating a ghost in a house. And the ghost has been around for a while. And the Doctor gets this idea of, what if I go to various points in the Earth's history to take a photo of this ghost, because she always looks like she's in the same position. And so this is
She's
the
dabbing?
first... Sure.
I don't know what year this came out as to whether dabbing would be the cool thing for her to be doing.
It's probably about that. Yeah. I think it's right around. And this was 2013. This was like a couple months before the anniversary special, I would say. Yeah, so he goes to a couple of different points in the Earth's history, and we're actually going to see another clip of Hyde in like a little bit. 6 episodes ish, it looks like. According to my spreadsheet.
That's some great foreshadowing. Can I ask, so when will we get to the seeking? When will we seek?
I don't know. I hope that Russell T Davies is writing an episode called Seek right now. If not, I know he's probably a listener, right? He probably listens to all Doctor Who podcasts. Russell, can you please write Seek so that we can get some closure on this ghost business?
Yeah, like that was, again, this was honestly the problem with like the Moffat era. He was hiding and didn't seem to care whether or not I was seeking. So he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna write Hyde," and be like, if nobody's looking for you, unless you got that seek, it doesn't. You're going to be hiding for a long time.
Yeah, you're not wrong. This is also probably not too long after the Imogen Heap song Hide and Seek came out. I think that was more like 2008, but whatever.
Time is a flat circle. Except for here.
Except for in Stitches in Time, where it is a very direct line. I'm happy with that. I don't have much else to add.
No.
To hide. I don't have anything to hide.
But do you have anything to seek?
I'm seeking the next episode, which is a 4-second clip from The Lie of the Land, and we have a special guest lined up next week, so stay tuned for that, everyone.
Ooh.
Bye, friends. Thanks for listening to Stitches in Time. Music by Becca the Matrix Archivist. Art by Mandy Ukendo. Logo by Ben Padden. Find us on the web at www.stitchesintie.me. Stitches in Time, but with a dot in the middle of the word time.
You're dressed for, like, teaching a Sunday school, and the main thing that you can see is just, I got a lobotomy.
Wait, what does your full shirt say?
I got a lobotomy done at Toyotathon.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of Sunday schoolish, except for the enormous cleavage.
The titties.
Yeah, look, I know what the internet wants from me.
When are we?
About 6 billion years ago. It's a Tuesday, I think.
And we have a special guest lined up next week, so stay tuned for that, everyone.
Ooh.
Bye, friends.
I wonder where they exist on my Fuck, Marry, Kill. Spoilers, it's all 3.
Oh, no. Oh, no, wait, hang on. Wait, I need to come over there. Hang on.
It's too late.
No!
Okay. I'm gonna
I told you, not until we're done recording. Okay.